What it do, fans? Welcome back to the JJ Sports Talk Show episode season 3, episode 2. What's going on, fellas? Back
What's
with
What
going
up?
another
on?
one.
Yeah,
Big
what's up,
J,
Jay?
back at it.
Oh, Big J,
What's up,
I,
boys?
I actually have a specific request from my man Anthony Cafone, our very own. We are not allowed to
Shoot.
use another one anymore. We need to
Yeah.
come up with something else.
Why not? That's the signature.
I know,
No,
but it's because it's
I-
our signature. It's not ours.
I just don't like DJ Khaled, bro.
How do you not like
Right
DJ
off.
Khaled, bro? DJ Khaled is a vibe, but like whatever. We're coming up with something else. I don't know what it is. I'll have it for next show. But we back, and it's another one.
Man, y'all hit with a bombshell.
Uses it
right off the
anyway.
bat, man. I love the another one, man.
Yeah, me too. But like Ant's right, we got to come up with our own cliche. So on the next one.
We'll figure it out.
Ant's like the NFL, bro. No fun league.
Oh, come on.
Yes.
All right, what's going on, guys? We got a lot to
Disrespectful.
get into today. We got basketball, football, and we're gonna talk a little bit of baseball towards the end of the show. So let's start off things with the NBA. Stephen Curry has been going off this season. He has a lot of people's votes already for MVP, even though it's early. The Warriors have the best record in the league, currently playing the best. Big J, how do you feel about the Warriors and how Stephen Curry's been playing so far?
Yeah, man. I mean, this team is like reminds me of the year that went like 73 and like 9 or whatever the record was.
Yeah.
Very young, talented team, and then without Klay Thompson, he's coming back. But who knows how healthy he's going to be coming back? Klay hasn't played for like 2 years, but they're dangerous, man. They got Wiseman coming back. They got that one shining star, the rookie. What's his last name? Starts with a K. Kalamunga. Sorry if I butchered that name, but yeah, they're looking good, man. Destroyed the Nets the other night. I'm sorry, Ant. They're chanting MVP in their own arena for Steph Curry. The man's just doing things that are. I'm not surprised, because he's used to doing that. So, like, what do you think, Ant?
Ant?
I think Ant just froze. I'm not sure what happened. He on that
Okay,
school
I'm
Wi-Fi.
gonna
Yeah, he ain't even moving right now.
throw
But
All right, man. How do you feel about the Warriors season?
Brandon.
I'll take that right now. I believe
Yeah,
the
go
man
ahead.
you're looking for is Jonathan Kuminga, Big J. Kuminga's been playing lockdown defense, been a solid option. I'm sorry, fellas. I'm dying of laughter just looking at Ant's stuff right now. All good, Ant. But Steph Curry right now, if he keeps it up, he's the MVP. There's not even a question in my mind about it. Best player in basketball. This guy is absolutely insane. And quite frankly, greatest shooter of all time. Some say maybe the greatest point guard of all time. It's generational talent. I mean, Dwayne Wade said it best. He changed the game. Everybody's shooting threes. We changed basketball completely because of this man. Whether it's for the better or the worst, I don't know. I do like the new rule changes, though, with them allowing the more defense. Steph's been adjusting to that quite nicely, better than other players. And moving forward, I mean, when Klay Thompson gets back, the Warriors are going to be a problem because they're already a problem. Even if he's not at 100%, like we're talking about arguably the second greatest shooter of all time. Klay's up there, 3-and-D guy. You, as mentioned before by my man Jordan Jean-Louis, he hasn't played in quite some time, man. Almost, I think it might be 2 years at this point. And quite frankly, it's going to be interesting to see what he brings to the table, but it doesn't even matter if he's healthy or not because Steph Curry and Draymond Green are holding it down, and they're working with, some young guys like Poole, Jordan Poole, Juan Toscano Anderson, and Jonathan Kuminga. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but I was gonna throw it to Anthony, but he just left us for a moment. Maz, do you feel that once Klay and Wiseman comes back, that they're gonna have a hard time integrating them into the system? Because since Klay and Wiseman have been gone, the ball movement is beautiful. Stephen Curry is passing at an all-time level. I think this is his best career as far as getting people over. I think he's leading the league and setting up his teammates for makes, and he's averaging one of his career high in assists. Do you feel it's going to be an issue once Wiseman, a ball dominant center, comes back, and when Klay Thompson comes back?
I think his assists might go up running a pick and roll with Wiseman. Wiseman's no slouch, man. He's a nice young talent. We saw some spurts of greatness, but it's a little weird when you're a center today and you can't shoot the three. We've seen some teams struggle with this. So, it's very interesting to see what's going to happen. And I don't think there's going to be a problem when Klay Thompson comes back. If anything, his assist numbers are probably just going to get better because that's somebody that we know Klay's probably the best catch and shooter in the NBA I think I've ever seen. It's just automatic, especially when you give him the space and he gets that rhythm, it's done. So for me, I don't think Steph's going to be affected. It's not like he's dealing with splitting time with a Kevin Durant. If anything, he's just got more options. But it's interesting to see what they choose to go with. Obviously, Steve Kerr's going to go with what's successful. But, bringing in back Wiseman, it brings in more defensive help down low in the block. But I don't even think they need it, to be honest with you. Going small ball has won them multiple championships, So it's nice to have, but they're going to do whatever is successful. And right now, if those guys, for whatever reason, just can't make it work out, I don't see Klay Thompson being a problem. I don't think Wiseman's going to be a problem either. The Warriors are very big on not having egos, so that's good. But they're just going to do whatever it takes to win, man, because that's what champions do, and that's what dynasties do. And we are looking at a modern-day dynasty.
I do agree with that. Welcome back, Anthony. Now, obviously,
sorry,
Klay's coming off.
a little bit of technical difficulties. Sorry about that.
No problem. And going back off what Matt said, obviously Klay is coming back off an injury, a serious one that kept him out for over a year. So I am interested to see what he looks like on the defensive end, if he can still be a lockdown perimeter player on the defensive end. But Anthony, tell me how you feeling about the Warriors' start so far, how Stephen Curry is playing at an MVP level. How are your overall thoughts about the Warriors? And do you see anybody in the West giving them any serious contentions as of right now?
Well, Matt, just the Warriors at this point in the season so far have looked unbeatable. And we've been saying for the last few years since, Kevin Durant left that the Warriors, I don't know, maybe their dynasty's over. I don't know. Steph was still playing at an MVP level last season. He didn't win it, unfortunately, but he was in the conversation for points in the season last year. But we were starting to say, are the Warriors finished? Is that it? I mean, they were one of the worst, I would say one of the lower-end teams in the Western Conference. They scraped into the play-in tournament, but we were thinking maybe that was it for them. But, I mean, Stephen Curry, this roster, it's not much better than the roster last year. I mean, it's a little bit better, but not by much. Stephen Curry is just having an ungodly season right now. I mean, he's averaging close to 30 points a game. I think he's averaging close to, 6 3-pointers a game so far? He's had the most 3-pointers in the start of 15 games of the season in NBA history right now. He's been phenomenal. I mean, he's always been phenomenal. He's continuing his dominant streak. I mean, Draymond's keeping it down for the defensive side of the ball. I think the Warriors right now in defensive rating are, I think, first or second in the league right now. So they're getting it done on both sides of the ball right now. So when you can do that at top competition to start the season, I mean, it's going to be really hard for any team in the West to really take them down. I mean, I talked about the Jazz a little bit last week. I really like the Jazz, but I mean, if Curry is playing like this with this not as good of a roster, and then you add in Klay later on in the season, this team isn't going to get beat. I mean, who will?
Right now, I agree. My thoughts on the Warriors so far is they've looked like the best team in the league easily. Stephen Curry, like you all mentioned, is having probably the best season he's had, if not second behind his unanimous MVP back in the 2015 season. He's playing unbelievable. And what makes this so impressive is he's doing all this without Klay. He's doing this without another top 5 shooter in the game who also was probably the best defender. You could argue Draymond, but I think Klay Thompson usually had the toughest assignment, especially when it comes to guarding the other team's best guard. So his season is just remarkable right now. But let me throw this to Jordan. Do you see anybody in the West giving the Warriors a serious competition so far?
I don't know, man. Just like we all said, that Clay, when Clay gets back, like we already know what Clay can do off ball. He's fast off ball, moves around a lot. That's off the ball. Like we saw what happened in the Nets game. But I don't know, man. In the West, I don't think anyone right now, man, because they're on another freaking planet right now. Like, they're 12-2, 13-2. In the West, I would have to say
it's all right to say no. It's all right to say
no.
no.
I don't. Well, it's too early to
And
say.
don't
'cause
say the
I'm-
Lakers, please.
No,
Don't say the
no,
Lakers, please.
I'm not. Well, no, because I was gonna say because we all, it's funny because we all thought that, the finals were gonna be, Brooklyn and Lakers, right? The Warriors weren't really in the conversation, but now Curry is going off. It's not just Curry; it's Draymond Green, helping out on the defensive end. You got like Matt said, you got Jordan Poole, Damian Lee. I'm gonna butcher this dude's name,
Toscano Anderson.
Toscano Anderson. There you go. And they're a really young and refreshed team, and yeah, like Curry is just going off right now. So yeah, the answer to your question, Matt, I don't see anyone right now, but then maybe that would change later on in the season. Maybe we'll see some competition like pull out. Maybe after Christmas or maybe in next year in January, we'll see. But right now, nobody can knock them off right now. Like especially when Clay comes back. But who knows? Like the last time he played was in the finals of 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
But not saying I'm not knocking off any of his skill, just saying how he's gonna move off ball with the knee and stuff and like defensive end and stuff. So I'm excited to see, man. So I see him more of like Matt's and Ed said, like a pick and roll type of player, like pick and because we all know he don't have to dribble to shoot the ball. We all saw that we had like 15 straight 3-pointers, like with 20 dribbles. So I mean, I see him as an all ball kind of shooter. So starting now, so.
Man, as I see you shaking your head in agreement, you feel the same way? You don't see any competition in the West?
As of right now, as it stands, it's insane. And I'm glad that Jordan brought up Draymond Green because I feel like Draymond Green is a player that doesn't get his flowers, man, and we need to give it to him because this is a guy who is like Steph is undoubtedly the best player on the Golden State Warriors, but the heart and soul and the glue of that team has always been Draymond Green. Even when Kevin Durant was there, even when Steph and Clay were going off, it's always been Draymond Green. I mean, you hear different stuff coming out of that locker room all the time of how involved he is. He's a leader. He's a vocal leader. He's not afraid to hold teammates accountable, holds himself accountable more than anybody, I think. And he's even involved in their draft process, man. I mean, we're talking about a guy who, if he wants to, will 100% be a coach when his career is done. I know he's getting into broadcasting a little bit, but the impact that Draymond brings to this team in terms of just dirty work and things off just out of the limelight, kind of like off camera stuff. It's remarkable. He's one of the greatest just teammates I think we've ever seen. Not willing to do whatever. He don't care about his numbers, man. He cares about winning and contributing to winning and being a leader for these younger guys. And quite frankly, the way that the Warriors are playing, man, it's hard. The only team that I could see giving them trouble are teams with a better post game. But that's to me like Giannis is like the one that gives them like an issue. And because like Jrue Holiday's locked down, he's not going to stop Curry, but he could be a problem for them down the road. But obviously, if they ever did see them, it wouldn't be to the finals. So out of the West, I don't see anybody doing that. Chris Paul is getting old. Devin Booker doesn't play. We always talk about Devin Booker being like Mamba. But the one thing that Devin Booker is missing to be Mamba is to be a lockdown defender and to be a killer on both ends. So quite frankly, with how things stay, I don't see anybody beating the Warriors if they keep this current form. And if Clay comes back, because let's not forget he had the knee injury and the Achilles tear. Those are two gruesome injuries to come back off of. I don't know how it's going to be, but if they could just have a third of what Clay was, it's going to be a problem, man.
No, I definitely agree. I definitely do agree. So let's move on. Let's talk about. Oh, this is very. I was very excited to get to this next topic, man. Very excited. Who is the top players in the league 25 and under? Now I feel like most of us are gonna have the same answer, so I'm gonna ask you for two because I believe we all know who number one is. But give me two choices, 25 and under, and I'm gonna throw it to Jordan to start us off.
Yeah, I can't wait for this one. So under 25, I would have to say Trae Young and Luka Doncic right now.
Wait, so Trae Young is your number one? We're going in order.
Oh, in order.
In order.
I like to say, yeah, okay. So Luka Doncic and then Trae Young. That's my 1 and 2. What about you, Matt?
I think.
Or Dan, go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I was gonna jump in. So I think Luka Doncic as well. I mean, we talked about him before. He's just the best 5-tool player in basketball right now. One of the greatest passers in basketball right now, which is probably one of the most overlooked aspects of his game. He can shoot just among the top of the league. He's great. Like, he can rebound. He can pass. I said before, he can play defense. He's just got to be one of the best all-around players in basketball. And many people, when he got drafted, were thinking, this guy's not going to be anything. He played in Serbia? He was playing European basketball. I mean, he was dominating when he was 16 over there. When I was 16, I could barely dribble around a kid who played JV. And this kid at 16 was playing Serbian professional basketball players, and he was balling out. So I think Luka Doncic is by far the best. I mean, I like Jason Tatum a lot, too. We were talking Jason Tatum. Guy's just a great scorer. I mean, the Celtics have not been great this season. They're playing the Lakers right now. I think the Celtics got a lot of young talent, and Jason Tatum's at the forefront of that. I think he's got to step up more as a leader. He's got to be more of that, like I should say more vocal leader, but more of a lead by example sort of guy. Take charge of that team. I think they could definitely make some noise if they start to play as a team more. But I think Jason Tatum by himself is definitely a top 2 player under 25 right now.
Matt, you on mute, dog.
I'm glad you said something. All right, so Matt, how you feeling? What are who are your top 2 25 and under players in the league currently?
Well, listen, Luka's a bad man, and I could sit here and tell y'all about Trae Young, but the fact of the matter is, Trae's got a solid team around him. Jason Tatum's got a solid team around him. For me, outside of Luka Doncic, it's kind of a toss-up. So I'm going to have to give you 3. Ja Morant is somebody that we overlook all the time. He's a dog. He's a young Russell Westbrook with that motor, athletic freak, playing in Memphis. As we said, if he was playing in New York, Miami, Chicago, Los Angeles, he'd be the highlight reel every day. ESPN would not stop talking about him. But the fact that he's playing down in Memphis, it's he gets overlooked a little bit. And for me, another one we don't talk about, maybe because of injuries a little bit too much and because he is playing down in New Orleans, Zion Williamson is still a problem. He's injured a lot. But if he could stay healthy, to me, the dude's a freak. He's like a combination of a young Charles Barkley with Blake Griffin athleticism, man. And he can shoot. Let's not forget that, too. I mean, Zion Williamson is an absolute freak. For his career, I mean, under 25, what is he, like 21, I think? 25.7 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and it's only going to get better, and he's a force to be reckoned with. And, his first season, his first season, he shot the 3 at around 42%. It dropped down last year to about 29%. But if he could fix that, how do you stop that, man? Kid's an absolute monster. We've seen him rip the ball out of grown man hands, bro. So to me, I think Zion Williamson gets forgotten about because of the injuries. But if he can stay healthy, it's going to come down to him and Ja Morant. And, of course, Luka Doncic, we don't even have to talk about him. We talk about him all the time, But all I can say is that the league's in great hands.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wasn't going to put Zion, but the only thing you said, the injuries, man. Like, he's a heavy kid and, like, all that weight, So I was going to pick him too, but just the injuries is like, he has to show me more. But obviously the injuries held him down, but, he's a big fellow, man. So, Sorry, Matt, you can go ahead.
I would have to agree with you guys. Luka is the clear-cut number one best 25 and under player. But I'm gonna go agree with Anthony on this one, man. Jason Tatum, I feel, has the most playoff experience out of all the players that are 25 and under. He's been to the Eastern Conference Finals twice, 2 or 3 times. He's had 2 or 3 deep runs. Dunked on LeBron James his rookie year, and then talked to him. Now, yes, they did end up losing that game, but he was battling. He has that killer instinct. The only thing Jason Tatum needs to learn how to do is close games. Once Jason Tatum learns how to close games, it is over. I think he could even have a chance at surpassing Luka due to the fact that has way more athletic upside, taller. Any physical attribute you want to go by: speed, vertical, jump defense. The only thing I feel Luka is better at this point in time is facilitating. I feel like Jason Tatum's upside is better than Luka, even though that Luka is better right now. So I'm gonna have to go with Jason Tatum.
I will agree with most of what you said, but Luka's shooting is better than Jason Tatum's, man. That shot off the dribble is nasty, dude. We were talking about this kid. Come on, he's literally a combination of James Harden and LeBron James at points, man. Granted, the athleticism is not towards LeBron James, but the IQ, the facilitating, and then the shot, just the way he draws fouls, the way that he be shooting off that 1 foot, like the awkward angles. The kid is amazing. But I agree with a lot of what you said there. And Jason Tatum, Trae Young, everybody, and we didn't even talk about LaMelo Ball. There's some bad youngsters in the NBA, man.
Zach LaVine.
Great one.
Lonzo.
There's a lot, man.
Yeah.
Like the league is going to be in great hands.
It's hard to pick 2 people out of everyone, but
for sure, when LeBron and KD, Steph all walk away, I'm still going to be watching basketball because these kids are competing.
Right. But I want to hear from Jordan. Jordan, what made you go with Trae Young over a Zach LaVine, a Devin Booker, a Jason Tatum? Why did you go with Trae Young?
Look, man, because Trae Young at Oklahoma, he was hitting curry shots from the Oklahoma logo in college, man. And then he transitioned that to the NBA. I feel like he's a more like, obviously Curry's our generation too, but he's more of a younger generation for Steph Curry. He goes to 3 ball, go with the shot, making plays. He's a leader of that team, and I feel like I could have substituted Trae Young, but I think we are in good hands with him because he can hit like Curry range shots, man, and not to that, not consistently, but he can still, he still has that range. Like Matt said, and like I said on other podcasts, we are in good hands with the league when LeBron and KD and Steph. Well, eventually when the players hang it up, we are in good hands. And all these rookies and coming in in college, got my boy from Duke, Pablo Banchero coming to the league, man. So we are in good hands with talent, man. But yeah, Trae Young, I just want to put him in the list because his 3-point ability. He's still young, doing it. I think he's got the bag too. I think at a max extension. I think so. I think he's well deserved.
Yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from, but I simply can't put him in that upper echelon of 25 and up younger players just because he's such a liability on the defensive end. Yes, he is a playmaker, but his 3-point shot is actually surprisingly very inconsistent at times. Yes, I feel he does make big shots, especially at this young of an age. He does make some big shots in big games. He shows that he's not afraid of the pressure. But I can't give it to him just based off he's a 6'1" guard. There's only so much you can do at 6'1" at that position. And just to go back on what Mad says, I have it pulled up right here. Jason Tatum has shot over 40% 2 times in his career. Luka Doncic has only shot 35% once. So maybe if you want to go based on difficulty in terms of the shot making ability, he makes a higher amount of difficult shots. But I think in terms of his efficiency, Jason Tatum is a knockdown. He's struggling right now. He's only shooting about 32% right now. So he's off to a slow start. But
for sure. But who's the better closer, Matt?
Luka.
You got 1 shot left. Luka makes big plays. Jason Tatum, he makes big plays, but he also got a whole team around him, man. You know, they're legitimately one piece away from they're a point guard being consistent away from being in the Eastern Conference Final and possibly being in the championship.
Here comes Maz's Isaiah Thomas plug real quick.
You know, man. You know,
Plug 'em,
man,
plug 'em.
they got the defense. They got the defense. They need somebody that can facilitate, extend their, space the floor. I'm gonna be fighting for Isaiah Thomas to be on an NBA team until the day I die. Because how dare what the Boston Celtics did to him? Shame on them. But notice everybody that I named, right? Notice everybody that I named outside of Jason Tatum. Why I'm giving Luka. Why I didn't say Trey. They ain't got teams around them, man. Ja ain't got the best team. He got some young kids around him, but it ain't like he's playing with Jaylen Brown. He's not playing with Al Horford.
What you say? Trey doesn't have a team, bro. He has John Collins. Clint
No.
Capella,
I'm saying Trey.
Cam Reddish, bro.
I'm saying Trey has a team. That's why he's not in my
Oh.
upper echelon. I'm
Oh,
saying Zion and Ja because they're doing this without the help. Obviously, Zion was playing with Lonzo, but Lonzo wasn't as consistent as we're seeing him play in Chicago. He was showing spurts of greatness that we know were always there, and he took a step forward, especially last year. Brandon Ingram taking a step forward, but these are two streaky guys at times, and I love Lonzo. I never wanted the Lakers to give him up, but to me, it's just Zion and Ja. Like, it don't matter where they are, they're gonna get it done. And I'm not saying that Jason Tatum isn't. But I question if Trey Young's going to put up the same numbers if he doesn't have a team to rely on. Obviously, he'll put up more points, but it's going to be less consistent because he's going to be taking a lot more reckless shots, trying to put teams on his back. As we know, he gets reckless a little bit, and he's a defensive liability. Zion, he might not be Kawhi, but, he play defense, man. We see him blocking shots all the way into the next century. Ja Morant, as we said, is like a young Russell Westbrook, man. So, to me, those are just guys that got it all.
Yeah, there's so many young players. Like, I forgot RJ Barrett, my boy, freaking Emmanuel quickly on the New York Knicks, man. Like, even if he's a bench player, like he potentially can. Yeah, he's nice, man. With that slick floater, man. Like,
but both need to be more consistent.
Yeah.
Before they get their flowers, they got to be more consistent. The Knicks are looking weird right now, man, because RJ be having spurts, and we know Kemba and Fournier are both streaky. I love Kemba, but we know that they're both streaky. And until RJ and Quickly are consistent, I'm not going to sit there and be like they're in that upper echelon yet, because they just keep flip-flopping, man. When you start having consistent success, then I'll start like putting you in those conversations. Same with Zion too. I put Zion in there just because we forget about him. He's fun to watch and he's dominant when he's on the court, but he's got to get his health right, man. Otherwise, we're going to be talking about other names moving forward, especially being quote unquote face of the league.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you, especially your point about Luka not having as good of a team as Jason Tatum. Like you said, imagine if Luka was playing with a Jaylen Brown. That would be a sick duo. I think if Luka Doncic was in the East, they would arguably have a top 3 record. But you have to also keep in mind, Jaylen Brown has been out of many games so far. He's not even playing tonight against the Lakers. But Anthony, how do you feel? Do you think Jason Tatum can be the number 1 option on a championship team? Maz mentioned that they're one player away, most likely a point guard away from a championship. What do you think Boston needs, and how do you feel about Jason Tatum in that lead role?
I think he went down again.
Yep.
That Montclair, we pay all this money for some Jackie Wi-Fi, man. And I'm gonna take. Oh, yeah, you back? Can you hear us, Ant? I don't know if he can hear us.
Can you hear us, Ant?
I'll take this question though, man.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
And here's what I'm gonna leave it at right now, right? Jason Tatum is up 116-99 in the fourth quarter on the Los Angeles Lakers my Los Angeles Lakers, might I add you, that has Anthony Davis, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, and Carmelo Anthony, and Jason Tatum working with Dennis Schroeder and Al freaking Horford, and Marcus Smart is up on the Lakers right now. And don't get me wrong, Al Horford is not a bum by any means. He's a little older, though. Schroeder, streaky, but pulling it together. he gets it together, they're going to be a serious threat. And that's what I mean by one piece away. I don't trust him to pull it together just because I've seen him play for the Lakers and choke in big moments. And Marcus Smart too, lockdown defender. But if Jason Tatum is doing this right now without Jaylen Brown, man, absolutely he could lead a team to a championship. And what do you think, dog?
And I don't know if you heard the question. Did you hear the question I asked you earlier?
No, what question was that? Sorry.
I was asking, do you think Jason Tatum could be the number one option on a championship team? And then my second is, what do you feel they're missing? Maz mentioned earlier that they're 1 point guard away from being real serious contenders again. What do you feel the Celtics are missing, and how do you feel about Jason Tatum in that lead role?
I definitely think Jason Tatum has the talent to definitely win a championship in Boston. He's got the scoring ability. All he really needs is maybe like a number 3 scoring option, and definitely he needs a good defensive rebounding big man that can get him extra possessions. Which players that I think that they're going to go after, I don't know. I don't think John Wall's playing again this year, but I would love to see the Celtics go out and get maybe like a John Wall next year if he's healthy. This year, I'm trying to think who would be available at the trade deadline. I don't know, maybe like I really don't know who they would actually go after, but they definitely need a number 3 scoring option. They definitely need a big man down low that can get rebounds and can play good like interior defense, because right now the Celtics are lacking in that department. I really do think though that Jason Tatum can get it done. He just needs the right talent around him and the right coaching.
Before we move on, I'm going to ask you guys this, and I'll let whoever wants to pick this up discuss it first. Who do you think is going to win the NBA championship first, if you had to guess? Luka Doncic, Devin Booker, or Jason Tatum?
Luka Doncic, Devin Booker, who else?
Luka, Jason Tatum, and Devin Booker. Who do you think is going to win the ring first?
I'd say Luka.
I disagree.
For sure.
Yeah, I disagree too. Well, explain why, Anthony. Why do you feel Luka has a better chance?
I just think that all three, Devin Booker's probably got the best team right now to go out and win a championship. Not that I'm saying that they're going to do it, but as of right now, Devin Booker's got the best chance. But I think Luka's definitely – he's got the drive, he's got the motor. I think he's definitely closest in terms of I'm the guy who can carry you to a championship. Devin Booker, I don't think can just carry a team to a championship. Neither do I think Jason Tatum right now can. But as of right now, if Luka Doncic had the pieces around him, he's the guy that I could say he's carrying me to a championship. I think just Devin Booker right now is a better team at the moment, so maybe he'll get that championship sooner. We don't know.
Yeah, man, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, just based off of individual. But at the end of the day, this is a team sport, and that's why for me it's going to have to be Jason Tatum, because I think they're legitimately one piece away. I think Al Horford is perfectly fine for them right now. They could have someone better, but Al Horford's solid. I think potentially you might have to talk about trading Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart's a dog, but if you really want to bring in that big impact player to solidify your big 3, Marcus Smart might have to be a trading chip that you have to be willing to give up, especially with that contract that he has. Not saying, like I said, Marcus Smart is a quality player, especially defensively, but they just need more firepower, and that might be the only way. So for me, I think Jason Tatum's got to be it, just because I think he's in the best situation. I think Phoenix threw all their chips into one bag and said, this is the year we're going after. And that was last year, and we know it wasn't good enough.
Fellas, I think we're forgetting about one key player, man, in the West, man. Jamal Murray, man. I'm not sure if he's under 25. I'm pretty sure. I think he's under 25, but like we didn't talk about him either. But you can talk down in the middle, like But your question, Matt, to your answer, I think it's it has to be Luka, because like Matt said, like with the game on the line, Luka Doncic has that Kobe Bryant, that instinct. Like we saw that a couple years ago when he hit that off the opposite foot fadeaway jumper and synced it for the game winner. that was clutch. Like, and right now, I believe if I was a coach, I would want him to have the ball last possession. Like, he had that LeBron, Kobe, game ice in his veins type of mentality. And but we all defer to how Luka doesn't really have a lot of players. I mean, he has Porzingis, which is he's kind of iffy. He's kind of injury prone. He's kind of like a stretch big. We got Bronson, the point guard. I got Tim Hardaway. I mean, they gotta keep some key players. You got the dude. He's like 7 foot. Forget his name. But he's nice off the bench.
Talk about Boban.
Yeah, Boban. Yup.
Or or they got Maxi Kleber too. But that's the thing. That's not good enough. That's the problem with it. Like I was saying, the Suns threw the bag, and I love Mark Cuban as like a person, but I don't know what they can do. They need free agent signings, dude, because trading, I don't think they got enough to really trade for. Kristaps is basically a broken, busted down. He's streaky, bro. He ain't what he used to be. He ain't New York, injury prone too. I like what you brought up about Jamal Murray, but I think we look at the best that they're gonna get with Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and Jokic, and I just don't know if it's gonna be enough. So for me, still, it's got to be the Boston Celtics, just because they have a trading chip. They legitimately are one piece away, and they're in a win now mode. Let's not get it twisted. They made some big moves, putting Brad Stevens up to the president of basketball operations. Then they brought in the Brooklyn Nets coach, whose name is escaping me right now. I apologize, but these are, like they said, these are our guys moving forward, and this is exactly who we trust. I'm sorry, it was excuse me if I butchered this name, Ime Udoka, and they're quality, man. But they're going after big names in any setting. It's quality over quantity for them, but they're not afraid to make a move. Definitely win now. I don't see Dallas in a win now mode. I see Phoenix in a win now mode. It's not working. We'll see what happens with Jamal Murray. He's bad. I see Utah in a win now mode, and it's not going to work because the coach isn't good enough.
Yeah. So speaking of coach, I know that this was on the topic for the NBA, but so if the Lakers cannot get it done, cannot win a championship with LeBron, Russell, and AD, do you think Vogel's on the hot seat, man? Do you think the pressure is on those three key players to get it done, or do you think, what do y'all think? Because that just popped in my head, the question.
And you want to take this one?
Sure, I'll take it. If they don't get it done this year, Vogel definitely. I mean, what would you say? Like, if he doesn't win a championship or he doesn't make playoffs?
Because they were expected to. I mean, they were the leading odds. Them in Brooklyn, they were like neck and neck with the finals. Even Steve Nash. But I'm saying that, like, if they don't get it done, like, get to the championship.
They don't even they don't even win the championship. All right.
Yeah, like, so do you think he's on a hot seat, or do you think they'll get one more?
I think if he doesn't make the championship, I think he's on the hot seat. I don't think he's gonna get fired. They're gonna see if they can try one more ride with him. I mean, I think LeBron definitely has a huge say in that organization, and it seems that he likes Vogel. I think everyone on the team sort of likes Vogel. There's no. I don't see any players speaking out against him. I think he still has a grasp of the team. I think he has underperforming players right now. Players that are just not getting the job done.
Do you think at the end of the day, like, do you think
sometimes as a coach, that like you can't control that. Like, you can only do so much from the sidelines. If you have underperforming players, it's not really. I wouldn't say it's really his fault. I mean, you got Russ, who's probably having one of the worst seasons of his career so far. I mean, LeBron's been hurt. You can't control injuries. It's been in bad hands so far. He's been given. But I don't think he'll definitely be on the hot seat if he doesn't make a championship this year. But I wouldn't say he's going to get fired. Maz, what do you think?
I'm gonna tell you right now. For me, Russell Westbrook is on the hot seat. All right, because we brought you in here to be a third star. You got your chance to shine. LeBron goes down. You're the primary ball handler. You and AD holding it down. AD's doing work. He was a little streaky at the beginning of the season, but he's just started picking it up, and he's doing work right now. And it's still coming down to Russell Westbrook's decision-making, inconsistency, And I like Russ, dude. He's fun to watch. I loved him in OKC. We see him become human over the last couple of years, and it ain't what it used to be. But I don't know. Like, I'm not even a big fan of Vogel, to be honest with you. But I don't think it's his fault that our troubles. Like, it's not his fault, man. I mean, he's a little questionable with lineups at times. I feel like, and just not saving his guys from himself. But at the same time, like, would you have the balls to pull a Russell Westbrook out of the game if he's an option? I don't know if I would. I kind of just have to rock with it. I'm very big on rocking with what you got. We have an older bench. We certainly don't have anything great coming off the bench except for Carmelo Anthony, which is great for scoring. But in terms of point guards coming off the bench, Rondo's old, man. I know Matt loves him, but Rondo's old. And Kendrick Nunn is weird. Just I'll leave it at that. I like Kendrick Nunn, but he goes from super hot to just nowhere to be found at times. So for me, you kind of just have to rock with your main guys. And if LeBron's out, Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook need to find a way to get it done. And right now, it's Russell Westbrook is the problem. I don't think it's time to move Russ yet. I don't want to jump the ship like I did a couple of episodes before. But it's getting frustrating at this point, fellas. And I expect them to be better. I expect to be competing for championships. If they don't get it done, something's got to change. I just don't know what we could possibly do because Westbrook's trade market is nowhere to be found right now for what we need.
Maz, do you know what the score is right now, the Laker game?
I'm sure the Celtics are up and we are playing like absolute bums. And that's what I was saying before. That's why I chose Jason. That's why I chose Jason Tatum. 130 to 108. Are you absolutely kidding me? Jesus Christ. I'm so sick of this. And this is why Jason Tatum will win a championship before Luka Doncic, before Devin Booker, before Trae Young. Because Jaylen Brown's not even in the goddamn lineup. And he's freaking balling. It's him, Al Horford, Marcus Smart, Dennis Schroeder against LeBron James.
I'm loving this.
LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Carmelo Anthony, Russell Westbrook. And we're getting our asses.
Come on, don't get him started.
Are you freaking kidding me? God damn it. I can't. This is why Jason Tatum's going to win a chip. Can I listen? Let me forget Zion, forget Ja. Jason Tatum might even be better than Luka. Right this second. This is unbelievable. I'm going to bed, fam. I'll see y'all later, man.
Oh man.
Goodbye.
Come on, bro. Yo, go take a halftime break. Are you good?
You gotta be kidding.
I checked the score and I go, oh, do I bring this up right now? I go, Maz.
Come on, Ant. You know he to take a. Come on, Ant. Like, you know he to take a time bomb to come to this shit, man.
I mentioned that they were up, but the fact that this is unbelievable. This is Jason Tatum.
I think the
final. That's the final. That's the game. 130 to 108. Jason Tatum is a dog. I don't care what anybody says against him. This young man just took Al Horford. I love Al Horford. Don't get me wrong. Quality. But older. Al Horford, Dennis Schroeder, and Marcus Smart against Carmelo Anthony, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook shouldn't even be close in the fourth quarter. That should be at least a 15-point lead. I can't believe Russell Westbrook, get the fuck out of LA. Get out of LA. I'm sick of this. Blow up everything. If it's not LeBron, Melo, or Anthony Davis, ship it out of town already. I'm sick of this. I'm jumping the gun, baby.
Go ahead, Ant. Go ahead, bro.
Maz, the fact that you just went from Russell Westbrook, I love him. I think he's a great player. I love him, OKC. To now after checking the score of the game, being like, Russell Westbrook, get out of here. I'm done. This is probably my favorite live reaction that we've had on this podcast ever. Maz,
the crazy part is, he legitimately only had 2 turnovers. Look, like LeBron James,
I want you to name this podcast Maz Gets Mad.
Jesus Christ. Listen. Out of the four that I named,
The SEC is gonna ban us from the
LeBron
podcast,
James-
man.
LeBron James had the most turnovers with 3, but they didn't have bad nights. I mean, Russell Westbrook went 5 of 13. What else is freaking new? But I mean, Anthony Davis put up 31, 12 of 21. LeBron James 23, 10 of 16. It's the 3-point shootings was killing us, for crying out loud. You got Westbrook going 1 for 4, Davis going 0 for 3. Check out my boy Melo. I hope. Okay, Melo went 3 for 4. Shout out Melo. Anybody that was doubting Melo, I'm loving exactly what we're seeing out of this man right now. Playing quality basketball, putting up consistent numbers, and exactly what the Lakers need. The Lakers are losing, and it's not Melo's fault. It's LeBron's health needs to get better. The 3-point shooting needs to be better, and Russell Westbrook needs to pull it together. I'm glad that he's got the turnovers down, but he absolutely needs to get the shooting down. This is ridiculous.
So if I was Vogel right now, I would start THT, man. He's nice. I feel like he should be starting, and then Russell should come off the bench.
You want to play THT at your point guard? Here's the thing. THT did start. He was in the starting lineup. He's playing as a shooting guard, but like, so what are you saying, Big J? You want to move LeBron to point forward? Is that what you're saying?
No, so I'm saying move. So THT he's like a shooting guard. He's like 2, right? So
Yeah,
I would
he's
put.
2. I mean, if you're gonna have him guard the one, that's fine. But
I'll put
got
Wayne Ellington, point guard. 2 with THT. LeBron to 3. 80 at the 4, and then Dwight at the 5, man. Or 80 at the 5.
Okay, I don't hate the lineup, but you still got to get Russell Westbrook some minutes in there, and I don't want to see Russell Westbrook managing a second unit. I don't know why we're not using Wayne Ellington. I mean, Wayne Ellington.
He's nice, man.
Yo, actually,
Good 3-point shooter.
Yeah, but he went 0 for 3 today and only took 3 shots. But listen, I mean, Wayne Ellington shot 41% from 3 last year, fellas. I want to see more of Wayne Ellington in a team. Has defense, has playmakers. They just need shooting. You know, we got star power, but we don't. Our top 3 stars do not shoot that. LeBron James is our best 3-point shooter. That's a problem. And LeBron's really stepped it up, but that's an issue. Like when it
Over
comes to
Melo?
No, I'm talking. Melo's not a top 3
Oh,
star.
you're talking about star. Oh, okay.
Top
He's
3.
on top 3.
Melo is still quality, but he's definitely the 4th best player.
Right. Okay. You said top 3. I didn't hear that.
Yeah, out of the
I
top
can't
3.
wait. I can't wait to hear this podcast. I mean, Matt's going off.
Dude, I
That's
can't.
mad.
Well, I want to go
I
back to
just
what
went
Jordan.
from not jumping the ship to absolutely pulling the plug. Everybody gone over this game because Jaylen Brown's not even freaking playing.
Not even
And the
playing.
fact, the fact, my fella, like the fact that freaking Dennis Schroeder had 21 points against the Lakers with 6 rebounds, 6 assists, shot 8 of 14, just proves sometimes you just can't make it on the LA Lakers because there's too much pressure. Screw that guy.
Well, that's the biggest problem with the Lakers is their perimeter defense. Every time we go up against a decent guard, they kick our ass. Like literally every time, whether it's Ja Morant, Stephen Curry, you name it. If they're an above average point guard, they're most likely gonna get close to scoring 30 on us. That's just the reality of things. But I want to go back. I'm glad you came around to my Jason Tatum point. Like I said, and people forget Jason Tatum in the playoffs last year, he dropped 50 without Jaylen Brown against the Nets. And he guarded KD and had KD guard him, dropped 50 on him, and won the game without Jaylen Brown. So I just thought I wanted to add that in there. But going back to what Jordan said about Coach Vogel, I do feel that if they don't make it to the finals, like Anthony said, that he'll be on a hot seat. He doesn't deserve it. He already won a championship. I think it'll be more based off reputation than what's actually right. He shouldn't be on a hot seat. He's already done enough. He's a quality coach. Yes, he does put questionable lineups out there on the floor. Like when he puts Rondo and Russ on the court together, I'll never understand that. Like, hey, let's put the 2 worst shooters on the team together. let's see what happens. But I don't think he deserves to be on the hot seat. But I can see some pressure being added to under his seat if he doesn't make it to the finals.
Absolutely, Matt. And like you just said, there's questionable lineups. Andre Drummond was killing it for us. All right, I don't care what anybody says. Andre Drummond was quality for the Lakers, and he just keeps on continuously rotating him out every time he gets some momentum against the Phoenix Suns. Vogel's a good coach. Is he a Popovich, a Spoelstra? No, but he is quality. But he needs to pull it together. This team needs him to pull it together. But it's not his fault right now, man. The fact that we just said the Big Four just lost to Jason Tatum and co. is a freaking problem. Shout out Dennis Schroeder for pulling it together, man. Like I said, the Boston Celtics are going to be nasty if they get some quality. If they get this out of Dennis Schroeder when Jaylen Brown comes back, it's going to be a problem on the East Coast. I'm sorry, in the East, but yeah, on the East Coast, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
But
before we move on, like Ed said, I just got one more thing for this topic. Like, it's funny how like the team that we had last year, but the players like Kuzma and Montrezl Harrell, they're going off on other teams, man. And we traded them. Schroeder. I mean, obviously he didn't really do good on the Lakers. Like, not people are like, oh, we need to get him out of here. But look at what they're doing on other teams.
Dude, they can't handle the pressure. It's just like we're the Yankees of basketball, man. Some teams come to these big markets. They can't handle the criticism. They can't handle the fan base. The Los Angeles Lakers are the pinnacle of basketball. I don't care what anybody says. We're the greatest dynasty of all time, greatest organization. We win championships. We always have the best players, and that's just what it is. Sometimes you can't live up to the hype. Brandon Ingram couldn't live up to the hype. Julius Randle was not doing what he's doing now in Los Angeles. For whatever reason, there was not even signs of it. All right. Julius Randle was just looking like a stereotypical 1960s power forward. Brandon Ingram with his streaky ass just wasn't hanging, dude. He leaves, gets the pressure off him, goes to New Orleans, and we're talking about him being most improved player. You know, Lonzo Ball, granted, took a little bit, but Lonzo's killing it right now.
D'Angelo
Russell, absolutely. I mean, D'Angelo had to go though for what he did. You messed up the locker room, homie. You got to keep it moving. But D'Angelo Russell, I forgot all about D'Lo, bro. Goes to Brooklyn, starts killing it. It's just these.
Wait, was that him or was that Nick Swaggy P? Was that
that was with Swaggy P, but he snitched on Swaggy P and messed up the locker room, you know. So he had to go, and that's just the thing, dude. These guys can't handle playing in the purple and gold, you know. It's just it is what it is. It's sad to say, but that's why it takes a special player to be a Los Angeles Laker.
Right, and it's not. You have to also keep in mind, it's not just playing in Los Angeles in the bright lights. You're also playing with arguably the second greatest player ever to exist as well. You also is the like LeBron James factor as well. You have to keep in mind Paul George. A lot of people are saying he didn't come to Los Angeles, the Lakers, because he was afraid of that pressure, and that's why he joined the Clippers. So you also have to add in the fact that you're playing with LeBron James. But we're gonna move on. Our next topic I was also excited to get into is who has a better career. This was a topic suggested by our own Brandon /Maz. Who has had a better career so far, Stephen Curry or Kevin Durant? And I'm going to start with Maz since you brought up the topic. Talk to me.
Listen, we've been talking about who's the best player in basketball for the last couple of years. It's always been LeBron James or Kevin Durant. LeBron James or Kevin Durant. And God damn it, Stephen Curry needs to get some recognition here, man. We're talking about the only unanimous MVP of all time, greatest shooter of all time. He's holding down the Golden State Warriors without a Klay Thompson. Kevin Durant is long gone. I mean, Andrew Wiggins doing quality, but let's be honest, Andrew Wiggins is basically another version of Harrison Barnes. Steph Curry is the second greatest point guard, maybe the greatest point guard of all time, in my Lakers bias to show him, because Magic Johnson. To me, a point guard should be a facilitator, and Steph is a facilitator. Not like Magic, but he facilitates and he brings that scoring aspect. He's leading the league in scoring right now. He's a monster, man. Everything, the championships, he was winning championships before Kevin Durant. 2-time MVP. He might go first unanimous. We're looking at a third MVP right now if the season were to end tomorrow. Granted, it's still very early, but I expect nothing less than him. Look what he was doing last year with everybody out. He was giving the Lakers a run for their money in the playoff game, and not much has changed, man. They brought in a couple of rookies, and they're sitting at the number one team in the entire NBA right now. Why are they doing this? Because of Wardell Stephen Curry is an animal, and that's it, man. So to me, Kevin Durant is a phenomenal player. We're talking the third greatest small forward of all time in Kevin Durant. LeBron James, Larry Legend above him, in my personal opinion. But in terms of just gifted ability, arguably the greatest player of all time based on talent, Kevin Durant. And I mean, he's a 7-footer who slings it. But to me, Steph Curry has just been it's so weird because like he's not flying under the radar, but because of LeBron James, because of KD, because of Kawhi, he kind of like gets lost in that mix a little bit when he's arguably the best player of the last 5 years.
I agree. Anthony, who do you think has had a better career so far, Stephen Curry or Kevin Durant? And who would you rather build a team around, Steph or KD?
I think that's a conflicting sort of set of questions. Because if you're asking who I would build a team around, it would for sure be Kevin Durant because he's just got the natural athleticism. He's definitely one of the best scorers we've ever seen. He can do it on the defensive side as well. I think he's not bad at defense. I think if I'm building a team, I'd rather have as Kevin Durant to build around. But if we're talking about who the best player, who has had the best career, I'm taking Steph Curry because he's definitely been that guy. I mean, he's had a great team in Golden State, but he's been the guy in Golden State. He's won 2 MVPs. He's looking to win his 3rd this year, and it's looking very possible that he might. I mean, he's won three championships, one without KD. And KD had to win his 2 championships with Curry. So we're talking who has had the better career. Kevin Durant has needed Steph Curry to win both of his championships. Curry has won one without KD. So if we're talking about team success, Stephen Curry definitely has that. He's more MVPs. He's definitely cemented himself as as Matt said, one of the greatest point guards ever played in the game. But I'd rather have Kevin Durant to build around a team with, but Stephen Curry has definitely had the better career. There's no doubt in my mind.
Big J, talk to me. Who do you feel had the better career? And I'm gonna also ask you the second question. Who would you rather start your team with, Stephen Curry or KD?
Okay, so when I think of like legacies and careers, I think about pioneers, people who have changed the game. So you think of the Jordans, the Kobe's. When people, when boys and girls go to the park, when they do that fadeaway jumper, what are they saying? Kobe, Jordan. So I'm about to go with Curry with the greatest career because he has I've said this on previous podcasts. Way before I met y'all on my early season 1, I said that Curry has changed the way we look at the 3-point shot. He has when big men. So KD without Curry, KD wouldn't be shooting threes, man, because we don't. Big men are scrutinized back in the day for shooting 3-pointers, right? They're known as Rodman for getting boards, playing big down low. Now we have the Kevin Love, the Jokic, the Giannis going outside shooting threes. So when I look at careers and legacies and who's the better, I had to say Curry because he changed the game. We got people in high school, like small ball, just people pulling up from threes because of Curry. He changed the game. And I like how Ant said that without KD would not have gotten the ring without Curry. That's as simple. I mean, we'll probably save this for another story, or another podcast with LeBron and KD or whatever. But the way, KD when he was on the OKC, he could have changed my mind because they were up 3-1 against Clay when they were young. They were up 3-1 and lost 3-1, and he joined them. Hey, if you can't beat them, join them, right? So I mean, I had my take on that too with the KD switching teams, but definitely I'll start my team with KD for sure because KD, who wouldn't love a 7-footer who can shoot the 3? And I can build my team around that. But we talk about legacies and in career and longevity in the league, I'll have to go with my man Curry, and he's dropping 50 bombs like it's nothing, 50 pointers like it's nothing, man. Like 50-point games like it's nothing. Like so.
For sure, Big J. And I think that is actually one of your best takes I think I've ever heard from you, bro. I love that take. You changed the game, man. I remember before the MVP season, it was the season before the MVP season. I'm watching the Golden State Warriors. I'm at my cousin Eric's house. And for anybody that knows me, my cousin Eric, we butt heads all the time. And, we have different takes on like sports. He's a lot more of an analytics guy. I'm a lot more of just, the feels for guy. If you ask him, he wasn't a big fan of Allen Iverson because he was inefficient. If you ask me, Allen Iverson was a dog because he didn't need to be inefficient. He was a winner. I looked at Steph Curry one night in his kitchen. I think it was around like Christmas time, and Curry's dropping threes from, 10 foot behind the 3-point line. And I turned to him. I said, this guy's going to be an MVP. He said, you're bugging. I said, dog, he's going to be an MVP. I wish we had a podcast back then. I wish I was on a podcast back then just so I would have had proof of this. I swear to God, on everything I gave this take. I did not see the game changing, though. Nobody saw the game changing with Steph Curry, and the legacy has been phenomenal. As you said, you go to any park, you got these knuckleheads pulling up from half court thinking that they're gonna splash it, and some of them just do. Not at the rate of this man, though. The work has been phenomenal. Steph Curry is amazing, bro. Who plays with Kevin Durant and puts up the identical numbers to their first MVP season? Because Steph Curry did. We didn't talk about that a lot because he was playing with Kevin Durant. But the fact that he averaged right around the same statistics from his first MVP season while playing with Kevin Durant absolutely goes to show you that he's a bad man. Now, granted, Kevin Durant was arguably the better player on the team when they were together. But just looking at overall body of work when they're not with each other, I think Steph Curry takes the cake.
Right, and I know Jordan wants to get back in here, but real quick, I have to say I agree. Stephen Curry has had the better career. I mean, obviously, 2 MVPs, looking like he's about to get his third. One of them was unanimous, proving that he could win a ring without Kevin Durant. But there's the thing. I'm going to surprise. I'm probably on my own on this. I think Stephen Curry, I might take Stephen Curry over Kevin Durant. And this just for this reason, right? They're at the highest level you could be as a player, right? Top notch, upper echelon, where you get all that. Both have rings, can score the basketball. But this is what separates Stephen Curry from every other player in the league. I believe Stephen Curry can literally play with anybody. We've seen that with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. They didn't mesh. They was both too busy on scoring. But separates Stephen Curry from everybody else is his movement without the basketball. I think you can surround Stephen Curry. You can give Stephen Curry Russell Westbrook. You can give Stephen Curry Marcus Smart. You can give Stephen Curry players who are not quite as good at shooting as his teammates, and I still think he can get the job done. And like you said, Jordan and Maz, we saw Stephen Curry go up against KD when the Warriors were down 1-3. And they were both in their primes. It was Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant straight up versus Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry. And who won? Stephen Curry. So we in reality, we actually already saw it. So in my estimation, I know it may be devil's advocate, but I think I might take Steph just based on like he can mesh with others.
You're not alone in that one. I think we're actually split 2-2 because I'm with you, Matt. I got to take Stephen Curry. I will not bet against him unless maybe it's just, prime LeBron as for players that are in the league
exactly
right now. But even then, I still might even take Steph depending on how I'm feeling that day.
True. Any other remarks, Jordan?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, just to piggyback off of Big Maz's earlier comments, like, yeah, this man not only is hitting from like half court, full court range, but this man's hitting pregame tunnel shots, man, from the tunnel, bro. This man's hitting pregame warm-up shots, sitting down, wetting shots, bro. Like, who takes warm-up shots from the freaking tunnel? The tunnel's like 80 to like 90 feet from the rim at least. Like, it's deep, and he's just shooting them, man. Like, it's just like, If you would have asked me one player to sit down with at a dinner table, it would have to be Curry, man. It's like, what is your technique, man? I mean, because I know I can shoot. I mean, I know I can. I'm a shooter, but like, what is your technique, man? Because that quick release, bro. Yo, man, you seen the videos, bro? Like you seen me pull up from half court. Or nah, maybe you know, maybe you haven't because you don't have snap. Never mind, bro.
Listen, dog. I know. Listen, I've heard the
But-
stories. Johnny G has been telling the stories, but that's the thing about Steph Curry. He's your favorite shooter's favorite shooter. He makes great shooters look like they're playing average ball, man. He just crushed Reggie Miller. He crushed Ray Allen. We don't talk about Klay Thompson enough because Klay's playing with Steph Curry, so but fellas, I think it's time to move it along.
Right. So let's dive into some NFL talks. First topic, Antonio Brown reports came out that his chef told him that he had fake COVID IDs. I'm going to throw this to Ant. How do you feel about the whole situation? Now, obviously, this is all alleged. There's nothing confirmed yet. They're investigating still. So what are your thoughts on the whole situation? Do you think this is going to cause any issues in the locker room that may do a disservice to the Buccaneers? I'm going to throw it to Ant.
So apparently, these reports came out from his chef, I guess, personal chef, that actually the chef got fired, that he had illegally gotten a fake vaccination card to pass off to the NFL saying that he was vaccinated, which is, I guess, if there was one person that I could say would get this happen to him, it would be Antonio Brown, because he's just one of those kind of guys. It just seems like something stupid happens to him every 1 month, every 2 weeks. But yeah, I mean, I don't think much is going to happen to him, in the sense that I haven't heard much of what the NFL's investigation has been like regarding that. I think maybe he'll get like a 1 to 2 game suspension. I think so. I mean, and the Bucs without him are no much different than the Bucs with him. I mean, he's certainly like their number 2 or 3 receiver. I mean, you got Godwin, Evans, but I think Brown's definitely cemented himself when he is healthy. He's been out for the last few weeks, so with an ankle injury. But yeah, this whole situation has been very odd. I mean, last few weeks we've been dealing with these vaccination stories with Aaron Rodgers, and now this one with Antonio Brown. It just seems weird that these guys who are making all this money would jeopardize that just so they can't take a shot, which has clearly been proven to not really do much in the sense of side effects. You get like maybe a day of side effects and that's it. But these guys are thinking that it's going to ruin their careers, which it just isn't. I mean, I think they're risking too much just to not get the shot, when it's clearly been proven that it doesn't really do much to hurt your health. But yeah, Antonio Brown, dumb decision. I clearly would expect it from a guy like him, just by the way his track record has been proven over time. I mean, what else can we say?
We have to keep in mind, it is alleged. Nothing's been proven yet. So I don't want to just accuse him and say it's settled that he definitely did do it. But definitely it isn't a good look for Antonio Brown or the Buccaneers. Mass, how do you feel about the entire situation? And do you think this is going to be an issue moving forward? And what do you think the penalty should be if this is indeed true?
Man, I'm going to be honest with you. I think it is going to be a problem moving forward. As we said, we don't know if it's true or not. So until there's due process and, they figure out the internal investigation. I mean, listen, Aaron Rodgers got popped on this, so anybody could get popped on this. Am I right? I think the fine and the punishment for it is absolutely a joke. As we saw, my man CeeDee Lamb caught a bigger fine for having an untucked jersey than Aaron Rodgers caught for faking the whole vaccination. And, that's BS. But as Ant said, if you told me Antonio Brown did do this, I would not be entirely surprised, just because of the last couple of years. The man's been flying off the wire a little bit, but I hope it's not true. I hope this is just like some, salty ex-employee getting, pissed off and putting out some slander because he, for whatever reason, the business relationship failed from being his personal chef. But the fact of the matter is this: Tom Brady does not look as comfortable as the GOAT should when Antonio Brown and Rob Gronkowski are not in the lineup. These guys have become his safety blankets. They're definitely his favorite targets. he still has Godwin and Evans, so I'm not counting him out. I'm just saying I think it's a problem moving forward just because Tom has guys that he relies on, guys that, he knows that when I'm in a jam, this is who I'm looking for when the game's starting to I got to take over the game. He's been the GOAT because of consistency. He likes having a routine. He likes having his guys around him. We were talking about a guy where there's legitimately a story out there. I think this is my father's favorite story about a dedication of an athlete. It was the day after Tom Brady won the Super Bowl, and he was with a friend at his house. It might have been Mark Wahlberg. I'm not positive who it was, but they were talking about they were sitting around having a glass of wine, and Tom wouldn't have a glass of wine, and they asked him, Tom, why not? And he said, I'm in training. So, Tom, you just won the Super Bowl. He goes, doesn't matter. We're coming back for another one. This is how you build greatness, consistency, doing the little things, and falling on your main guys. So with the Gronk's injury history and AB's headaches, it could be a potential problem moving forward.
Right, and before I let Jordan go, I was gonna say, following Anthony's thoughts, I disagree with his point that their offense and their team would be the same without Antonio Brown in the lineup. I don't see them beating the Rams or one of these dominant teams, contenders in the AFC, without Antonio Brown. He does so many different things. He could play the slot. He's a good deep threat. I don't see them being the upper echelon teams without AB. He does too much. Like I said, he can play the slot. He gets in the creases of the defense. He's very familiar with Tom Brady. They have great rapport. But Jordan, how are you feeling about the entire situation? Do you feel that this may be a problem going into the future? And if this indeed is true, what do you think the repercussions should be for Antonio?
You're on mute.
I know. I caught that. No, but while y'all were doing your takes, I was actually reading one of the articles on ESPN, and today, head coach Bruce Arians said on Friday that he has no reasons to believe that wide receiver Antonio Brown procured a fake COVID-19 vaccination card, and that the team did do its internal due diligence, his own research, but the coach, Bruce Arians, said that, well, we did our investigation, now let the NFL do theirs. Also in the article, it says that the player came over to his house, to the person's house several times on multiple occasions to get several different copies of different vaccination cards. So maybe this is too early to get into like the events because they're still doing the investigation. But if this is, if that's true, and this is in fact like what it is to be, the question is like how long or how many games has he done this? Has he done this the whole season? And yeah, I think the repercussion is if everything is what it's true, I think he might be done for the year, man, because maybe like the rest of the season.
He can't be. He can't be.
That would be asinine based on how they treated Aaron.
You gotta have consistency, man.
Yeah.
There's absolutely, if Antonio Brown catches a longer suspension than Aaron Rodgers, I'm gonna be. That's ridiculous.
No, but
clearly, if he's doing it, Big J, if he's doing it, it's been the whole season. I think it might be slightly more punishable than Aaron Rodgers just because he is the second guy, and it's like, okay, now we really need to start cracking down on this.
How many games left to the season? Like a couple, like 9 or 8.
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, like if he's faking it the whole season. But Aaron Rodgers been faking it 1 week less, for crying out loud. So for me, the only way to make this fair is you got to give him the same suspension. Everything that Aaron Rodgers got, you gotta give him, and then put out the statement. Anybody moving forward, crank that up to tenfold. This is your repercussions. We're gonna let you come out now and get through it. Because I will say this, man, we rag on Kyrie Irving a lot on this podcast, but at least Kyrie had the balls to stand by what he believed in instead of sitting there faking it and potentially putting people at danger. All right. So I respect Kyrie in that sense. Aaron Rodgers, I lost a little bit of respect for it. Not that he gives a damn, but I lost a little bit of respect just because, dude, you're a liar. And then sitting there being like, oh, I was playing the gray area. Come on, dude. What you was doing was wrong. You were deliberately deceitful. And AB, I hope it's not true, but if he is, like, you need to get the same punishment as Aaron Rodgers, and then they got to crank it up so this way nobody else decides to follow suit, man, because you got to protect
I'm just
everybody.
reading
at
this
the end of the
article.
day.
It's just back and forth. Like AB didn't do this. Like this is it's all a mess.
But they
right
got
now.
no clue. They got no clue. It's
So,
every
Right,
yeah,
no,
so
it's
it's
not
too early to
confirmed,
speak
right.
on it. So maybe a worse could be a fine or a couple suspension, or a couple games for suspension, but it's too early. It's like, oh, AB didn't do this, and then another side say he did do it. So they're gonna do their internal investigation for the NFL and see what it is. But if it does come back to bite them in the ass, then I mean, hey, it could be detrimental to the team, man.
Right, and I love Brandon's point about the Kyrie, how we treat the treatment of Kyrie. At least Kyrie is straightforward. He doesn't hide behind any lies or masks. He's straightforward in what he believes in, and if you agree or disagree, he's still gonna do him. But before I get Anthony in here again, I did read the reports, and but before I say that, I do believe it is a bigger deal what Aaron Rodgers did than what Antonio Brown did, because you're the quarterback of the team. You were the no questionable leader. You're supposed to be. Quarterbacks are seen in a light than any other position. All right, receivers, cornerbacks, they're even known as divas. All right, so seeing a receiver do this isn't shocking, but to see a leader of a franchise do this, a Super Bowl champion and Aaron Rodgers do that, I think it's way worse than Antonio Brown. That's just my opinion.
And I appreciate your take on that, but I think it got to be the same thing. I want to see quarterbacks taken off their pedestal, man. We as a league have been protecting them for way too long. And I get that they're held to this higher standard because they're the quote-unquote face of the franchise. But not every franchise has their quarterback as the face of the franchise. For the past years, J.J. Watt was undoubtedly the face of the Texans. You know, don't tell me that Lawrence Taylor wasn't the face of the New York Giants back in the day. You know, so start holding guys to the same accountability and stop putting quarterbacks on the pedestal. And for God's sake, let the QB take a clean hit just like anybody else.
I do agree with the sentiment that Aaron Rodgers, what he did was horrible, and as the quarterback, you are held to sort of a higher pedestal. But I do also agree with Maz in the sense that quarterbacks shouldn't be held to this higher pedestal. They are just like everyone else. If they make a mistake just as bad as someone else, they should be punished as bad as someone else. That is definitely a problem in the NFL. We definitely see these quarterbacks as larger than life. And when they do mess up, they do get a little bit of a lighter sentence. Like one thing I can think of is Tom Brady in the Deflategate scandal. I mean, he only got 4 games for what happened with the Deflategate. I mean, most guys in that situation would probably get a whole year suspension.
Hey, we're going to need a podcast on that because I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even think Tom Brady's at fault there, but we'll save that for another day.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, but like if that was another player, if it wasn't Tom Brady,
he would have got shredded.
Exactly.
Shredded.
Exactly. But like that's what I'm saying. So I do think that there's a problem with the quarterbacks and holding to a higher standard. But I think this whole vaccination situation, when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, Antonio Brown, we need to have a common punishment. I think 2 to 3 games is probably good enough. Give them a good fine, just to let everyone else know that this behavior will not be tolerated. If you want to lie about your vaccination, know that there's going to be a risk. You're putting everyone on your team in danger, and you're also putting yourself in some danger as well as a financial, and probably you're not going to be able to play some games this year, which could cost your team a playoff spot.
Yeah, I mean, I got a little bit of background. Reading the article down further. It said that according, I think the chef is Ruiz. Apparently, he moved into Antonio Brown's house in Tampa Bay, Florida, and after the Week 1 game against the Dallas Cowboys, their relationship kind of broken off, and they knew, like, and Antonio wanted to renegotiate the rate for the cook for a chef. But they didn't disagree, so he moved back to Los Angeles. So they kind of split. So I guess he wanted to, get back at AB for, kind of having that rocky relationship. So, I mean, who knows, man? It kind of reminds me of like different situations, different circumstances. Kind of reminds me of like with the Raiders situation, but like looking at the information, man. Obviously, he wanted to get back at AB for doing something that they knew was under the rug. I know different circumstance, different situation, but it kind of reminds me of like stuff like that. So I mean, we'll see what the NFL does. I'm really very intrigued to see what they do. So I mean, we'll find that out in the coming weeks and maybe a month or two.
Yo, last comment on this. The internet stays undefeated because I just scrolled past a meme where they had AB's vaccination card and it had a picture of McLovin from
McLovin, baby.
that's super bad, yo. The internet some days is
Undefeated.
just exactly what you need, bro. And some days it's awful, but today, undefeated.
And also keep in mind that the NFL teams are responsible for verifying the personal player vaccine status, and obviously it is illegal to falsify government seals. So we're gonna wait and see what happens with that. Hopefully it isn't true. But if it is true, they might end up having to fine the teams. I don't know if they're gonna get fined. I know the Packers are fined $300,000, but they might lose draft picks because this would be the second offense. But let's move on to Cam Newton and his big debut returning to North Carolina. I was very excited and happy for my brother Cam. He deserves to be an NFL starter in this league. Maz, how you feeling about Cam Newton going back? And do you think he can lead them to the playoffs?
Told you that was my MVP last episode, dog. It's the biggest comeback. I think he has a shot at leading them to the playoffs if Cam keeps balling out. But we've seen him be a little inconsistent, having some big weeks for New England. But he's home. He's the prodigal son. You know, I know he's not from like Carolina, but they love him there, and he's their guy. He's got an MVP. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? And like playing down there in Carolina, you know, so.
Yep.
They love him down there. He's got everything. He feels comfortable. Maybe this is the resurgence that he needs. Clearly, everybody else that they brought in after him was not the starter that they were looking for. Wasn't the move. He comes back and has a legitimate shot. They just got CMC back. Robbie Anderson and him seem to be having a nice little connection there. Arguably the most offensive talent that he's played with. So we'll see. I think they could scrape into the playoffs, but it's still a little too early, and I want to see Cam this week, but I'm just really glad that the brother got a shot at showing his worth because I just think he was done a little dirty. And obviously New England wasn't the fit for him, but it's always nice to see Cam succeed because he's given us countless excitement over the past couple of years. Ant, what do you think, dog?
Yeah, I mean, when I heard the news that Cam re-signed with the Carolina Panthers, all I could think of was, man, the memes that are going to spawn out of this are going to be hilarious. This guy is definitely one of the great personalities of the NFL over the last few seasons. I mean, you could do anything. From his post-game outfits when he's always showing up with those baklavas, you know what I'm talking about, where he ties up his hair. He always types in that weird like dialect on his Twitter. Like he's one of the great personalities of football. And it sucked not having him in the game this first half of the season. You want like those personalities to have a chance to play. And now when he finally got re-signed back to his home team, I go, yeah, this guy's going to be back to what I won't say back to what he was, but he's definitely going to be close. I think the Panthers definitely love him. The guys definitely rally around him. You saw there's a video during the Cardinals game. They had a sort of like on the sideline. Cam had the whole team huddled around mid-game, and he was talking to them like sort of like as a captain. He only had been there for 3 days since he resigned. That just goes to show the amount of respect the locker room already has for him. And that shows how little respect that they had for Sam Darnold. So I think the Carolina Panthers made a great move. I don't think he's going to be there for long. I think maybe this is just a one-year rental sort of thing before they draft a quarterback next year. But for what you want right now, I think Cam's a perfect guy to have in that locker room. Keep guys cool, keep guys tense. And maybe the Panthers can sneak in the playoffs this year. Who knows?
Right. I missed it. Brandon, did you say that Cam could lead them to the playoffs?
I think he could get him there, man. It's still too early to tell. It depends on what he does this upcoming week. But Cam, I'm rooting for him, man. That's for sure. You know.
All right, Jordan, how do you feel about Cam Newton's return? And how far do you think he could lead this team
Hold on, can y'all still hear me, man? My mic is like fuzzy.
Yeah, you're good.
Nah,
You're
you're
good.
good. You're
Okay.
perfect.
On my end, it's kind of fuzzy, but yeah, I think that I mean, I like it, man. I mean, obviously, one game is one sample size of what he can do, but like, I feel like what I saw, like he's like I'm back, like he is back, man. Superman is back, and I remember that one play. I think it was last year. They were playing the Packers, right? And I think everyone is there was this. He was like, I think it was Clay Matthews. Like it's a real route. It's a real route. Oh, you watching film, huh? All right, ready, and then he threw the touchdown. So like, yeah, like what Ant said, like he brings the energy that they need. Like you saw, like they're on a golf cart pregame. They're like, yeah, with the homies. Like so. I mean, he brings that swagger, man, that they need, and not. I mean, I don't think Sam Darnold. He's not as electrifying as Cam Newton. That's what they need, that boost of energy. And well, I think they got their receiver Robbie Anderson, right? He was from the Jets.
Robbie Anderson, yeah.
Yeah, Robbie Anderson. So yeah, I mean, I like the fit. So
All right, let me ask you this: if Cam doesn't make the playoffs or is inconsistent throughout the rest of the year, do you think this is going to be his last chance at being a starting quarterback in the NFL? Do you think this is his last chance, or do you think he'll end up on another team eventually?
I mean, I feel like he might go to the Saints next year because Jameis Winston is out with that ACL, man. So I mean, they might draft a quarterback, but I think that's a good fit for him in New Orleans.
That's a great pick. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
I mean, if Michael Thomas can get shit together, I mean, I know it's injury and whatever, but if he can get healthy, I mean, him and Cam Newton, that's dangerous, man. And then they got Kamara in the backfield. Hey.
Maz, how do you feel about it? If Cam isn't able to lead them to the playoffs, or he's inconsistent, do you think this is his last chance at a starting position in the NFL, or just in the NFL period?
Well, if they don't make the playoffs, it all depends on whether or not it's Cam's fault. We got some questionable things going down in Carolina. CMC is no longer the dominant running back like he was. I believe my man over at Derrick Henry in Tennessee is taking that title from him just because the best ability is availability. Granted, he did go down with a foot injury, but CMC's been injured the last 2 seasons, so we'll see if he can even be healthy getting to the playoffs from this point forward. Robbie Anderson playing with the Jets, I mean, let's be honest, he's not Randy Moss. He's not CeeDee Lamb. He's not a marquee name at the wide receiver position. He's an okay wide receiver. He's solid at times, but we'll see. Now, obviously, if Cam can't hang, yeah, you got to start debating hanging it up. He's got an injury history, didn't make it work up in New England. We are seeing Mac Jones have a good season right now, leading rookie quarterbacks and stuff. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to how Cam personally performs. I don't think making the playoffs decides whether or not he gets a chance. I think it's what he does individually decides whether or not he gets a second chance. And like I said, I'm rooting for him.
Same. Anthony, do you feel that if Cam doesn't play up to par, or if they miss the playoffs, that this might be his last opportunity to start? Or do you feel that he might be out of the league, period, if he doesn't play up to level of expectations?
And did you hear him?
I think he's frozen.
That damn Montclair Wi-Fi, bro. We pay all this money just for this thing to go down.
Oh, he's using that Montclair Wi-Fi?
He's on that Montclair Wi-Fi. He's in the dorm right now, but I actually believe he's in a study room. We apologize for any technical difficulties, especially during COVID and due to monetary reasons. We cannot all be in the same studio at times. So we got to do this from home. And listen, my home Wi-Fi isn't the best. Montclair Wi-Fi is jaggy. Anthony, give us a thumbs up if you can hear us, my brother.
Are you back, Anthony?
Nah, he can't hear it.
No,
man. That thing.
So let's just move on. Maz, you mentioned Mac Jones having probably the best year out of all the rookie QBs. how has he looked to you, and how far do you think Mac Jones and this New England team can go?
I'm gonna stand by my original take that I had a couple weeks ago. Mac Jones and the New England Patriots will go as far as Bill Belichick will take them. I'm not sold on Mac Jones, even though he's probably having the top year out of all the quarterbacks. But I also said he's the one rookie quarterback with the best situation. He's walking in to he walked in to the GOAT of coaching. A guy who with Tom Brady has won multiple Super Bowls, the most winningest coach of all time when it comes to Super Bowls. Bill Belichick is God when it comes to football. It's amazing. But I will say this. They end up playing the Atlanta Falcons on Thursday Night Football. They won 25-0. Mac Jones, 22 of 26, quality. 207 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That's a game that he should have blown out of the water. Shouldn't have had any picks if he's the real deal, in my opinion, because Atlanta has been dog water this entire season. I just don't see Mac Jones being the guy outside of the system. I mean, if he's not with Bill Belichick, I don't think he's going to be as good as we're seeing him being. And I mean, dude, 45-7 against Cleveland the week before doesn't even break 200 yards, for crying out loud. Granted, he threw for 3 touchdowns, but I mean, that to me is just saying that they're doing the stereotypical little 5-yard routes or under, hitting those screen passes and just doing whatever they need to do to get Mac Jones comfortable with their system. And I just think it's going to be another situation where as long as he stays in New England, he'll be successful. But if he ever leaves New England, this is not going to be a Tom Brady-esque leave. Go ahead, Ed.
Here's the thing, Maz. You're talking about that Mac Jones benefits from the system. That he's in the system. He's not leaving for a while. So
For sure.
there's no reason why he can't be a good quarterback. He is a good quarterback in the system, and now he's in the system. So let's see what he can do while he's in the system.
Even the week before against Carolina, which nobody's sitting there saying that Carolina's got a great defense. I mean, he went 12 of 18 in a 24-6 win. He went 12 of 18, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Granted, he's a rookie, and I'm being pretty harsh right now. I watched Mac Jones all in college, and I just saw him benefit from talent around him. He's an okay quarterback. I don't see him being an Aaron Rodgers going out there and single-handedly winning you a game. I don't see anybody recreating Tom Brady and just being like, we always talk about Tom Brady being a system quarterback, but Tom Brady is a game manager, and we'll see what Belichick instills in him, but I still don't think he's going to be the best quarterback out of this draft. I think he's in the best position out of the quarterbacks, but I'm still going to be rocking with Trevor Lawrence until somebody proves me otherwise, just because the kid knows how to win, and I see the Jaguars turning around in the next upcoming years. Maybe not right away, but to me, Trevor Lawrence is a guy that's going to go out there and win you a game. I don't think Mac Jones is capable of doing that, at least not just yet.
I want to get Jordan in here. Jordan, what is your initial thoughts on how Mac Jones has been playing, and how far do you think he can lead this team along with Bill Belichick, as Matt has mentioned? How far do you think the Pats can go with Mac Jones, the rookie quarterback, going forward, looking to be a contender?
I mean, I know they played. Can y'all hear me? Right? Gotcha. I put I plugged in my microphone to my laptop. So, yeah. So, personally, I mean, from what I saw last night, I mean, I know they played the Falcons, a terrible defense, but he was making good passes. Obviously, he has a good coach, and Belichick, probably one of the most greatest, arguably the coaches of all time. Obviously, he won't be like a Tom Brady, level quarterback, but I mean, he has the potential to, be a great quarterback. I just disagree with that comment that Matt said about Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he's a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, what's their record right now, man? But look at Mac Jones' record.
DJ Shark is out, bro. Listen, I love Urban Meyer, but Urban Meyer might not be able to cut it at this level. And he's not Bill Belichick, for crying out loud. DJ Chark is down. I can't even name the second best wide receiver on the
Mr.
Jaguars.
Shenault.
Thank you, Shenault. Like I feel like, listen, Chenault's quality, but he's not working with anybody great, and he doesn't have a GOAT defense to rely on right now because that defense has been killing it, and that defense has been killing it because they got the GOAT coach, man. I mean, come on. If you trade places Trevor Lawrence for Mac Jones right now, I guarantee you Trevor Lawrence against the Panthers, against Atlanta, against Cleveland, especially in the 45 win, he's thrown for over 300 yards and has multiple touchdowns. Mac Jones, they're playing it safe with him, and I don't think he's capable of doing what Trevor Lawrence is capable to do. I don't think he's capable of doing what Justin Fields is capable of doing on a football field. You take any one of those guys, granted, Belichick saw something in this kid and said, this is my next protege moving forward. All right, this is my guy. But at the end of the day, if you put Trevor Lawrence there, Justin Fields, they do a little better.
Yeah, I feel like Trevor Lawrence is a more. If you put him on the Pacers, I feel like he's more of a mobile quarterback. Because I feel like when it comes to like the only comparisons I see with Tom Brady and Mac Jones is they're both kind of pocket passers. Like you don't really see Mac Jones scrambling, okay, in case he needs to. But I feel like you said, Maz, if you put like Trevor Lawrence on the Patriots right now, like I feel like he can gain more extra yards with his run. But personally, I mean, and their defense is good. I mean, they got my boy Judon. I got Hightower. Got McCarty, one of the twins. I mean, they're looking Van Noy. They're looking pretty good, man.
Yeah, I will have to agree with Maz. Mac is definitely in the best situation. He definitely has the best talent surrounding. He has an incredible defense. They're playing like a top 5 defense at the moment. He's playing for the greatest coach to arguably ever be in that position. He has a lot. And no, I don't think he's as spectacular as Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields. But what Mac Jones does fits perfectly for what New England likes and what they're used to. Tom Brady isn't the most spectacular, but he's very efficient, doesn't do too much, doesn't put the ball in harm's way. Mac Jones, like you said, nothing crazy. He's only had one game where he's thrown over more than 2 touchdowns, and that was against Cleveland in that blowout win. So he, like Maz mentioned, he is doing a lot of dinking and dunking, nothing spectacular, but he is so effective. I'm impressed by his poise. He seems to have the locker room's attention and leadership. The people follow him. Especially at this, it's hard to go in a situation, especially in a place like New England where expectations are so high, and you're a rookie quarterback and coming in filling in the GOAT shoes. I think he's doing a remarkable job, given the fact that he's a rookie. So I'm very impressed. But do I think he's going to be ever an elite quarterback? I may have to agree that I don't think he ever will be elite. But he's an above average quarterback for sure.
Listen, man, and you just said it best. We're on the same page here for this one. Mac Jones is probably going to have a solid career, but he will never be, in my opinion, an elite quarterback. And by elite quarterback, I mean he might break top 10 a couple of years every now and then, but he will not be a consistent guy. He's not going to go out there and put teams on his back. When you're given the winning playbook by the GOAT coach, man, what do you expect to happen?
W's.
Here's the thing. I'm going to bring up. I'm going to bring up a quarterback who was great, statistically great. But at the beginning of his career, he was a bit of a game manager. And that quarterback was Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers, to start his career, was very much a game manager. He had LaDainian Tomlinson in his backfield, and pretty much all his job was to hand the ball to LaDainian Tomlinson or dunk it to LaDainian Tomlinson. So, yeah, he started his career off as a game manager. But that doesn't mean he didn't evolve into one of the greatest passers in the game at that point. And I think right now you're underselling Mac. I think he's a great passer. He's shown that he can push the ball down the field numerous times. I mean, he's got Kendrick Bourne, who's caught a couple of long touchdown passes. He's hit Jacoby Myers on the sideline a few times. I think he's got a good arm. He's got great football IQ. I think with Belichick and a little bit more time, he can develop into that passer that you guys don't think he can be. I think he's definitely young. He's definitely a little raw, but he's going into a system that he knows. Nick Saban and Bill Belichick are pretty much like football brothers. They do the same exact thing. So he's grown through that college system with Nick Saban, and now he's in that same system with Bill Belichick. I still think Mac Jones, even though he may not have the best physical attributes as a quarterback as compared to like a guy like Trevor Lawrence, I still think Mac Jones can still be a quality quarterback at this level of the game.
I did not like that Saban Belichick comparison because the fact of the matter is this: Saban gets the top recruits all the time. Bill Belichick is working with not many big names on that offensive side of the ball and is getting results. That is the difference between greatness and recruiting right there. All right. So, but that's for another podcast. I get what you're saying, but on this one, we're just going to have to respectfully disagree until Mac Jones shows me otherwise. He's had 3 games where these were clear wins. They looked like the better team all game long. The score was even up there, and he looked like he didn't do much in it.
Yeah, and I'm looking at a lot of the games. It's really been the defense. If you look at it, the Falcons were held scoreless. Cleveland was held to 7 points. Carolina was held to 6 points. Yes, they did give up 24 to San Diego, but we know them with Justin Herbert. And then they held the New York Jets to 13. So it's really been the defense dominating. Yes, Mac has had really good games. He's been poised, very efficient, not turning the ball over to an extreme level. But we have to give props to this defense, this Bill Belichick-led defense. But I didn't hear a clear answer. So how far do you think New England can go with Mac Jones this year? Do you guys see them having a chance making it to the conference championships? What do you think their limitations are? I'm gonna throw it to Jordan first. You're on mute.
No, I would say, what was the question again, bro?
No, I was saying, how far do you think they can go? Like, what do you think their ceiling is this year? Do you think they can have a chance to making it to at least like the AFC Championship? Where do you think their limitations are?
I mean, I think they'll make the playoffs. I think they're like 6-3 right now, right? So they're like, I got to look at
7-4, but yeah,
what, 7-4?
yeah.
I mean, I gotta say, I look at their remaining schedule, but I mean, if they can, pull a couple of wins, for the end of the season, I feel like they can make the playoffs. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, I never seen Duke play in the playoffs, but I feel like he can have a strong run. But I mean, we'll see. With that defense, with Judon, I mean, it's not just all Mac Jones, but it's the defense had a ball too, with Judon and Hightower. And that line, man, that defensive line. I mean, I know they played a horrible team last night with the Falcons on Thursday Night Football, but I mean, who knows what they can do on in the playoffs with that defense, man. But I feel like Mac, I see them making the first round of the playoffs, but who knows, man? They can make a run, man. With Belichick, who knows, man?
Right. Brandon, what do you think the New England ceiling is for this season?
I think my man Jordan Jean-Louis just had the take right there for me on this one. It's gonna go as far as that defense and Belichick takes them. I wouldn't be surprised if they obviously get into the playoffs, even if they win a game, but I don't know. We'll see when they have to get against like the bigger teams. Granted, they're looking good against the Falcons, the Panthers, but we'll see what happens when you got to play the Bills again. The Chiefs are still out there. The Chargers, we saw what they did to Derek Carr earlier in the season with that pass rush. The Ravens too. So there's just too many teams that I just see above them right now. Even the Titans are making it work without Derrick Henry. I see them winning a playoff game, but not going farther than the second round if they make it in.
Right. I'm glad you actually transitioned to that because one of our last topics is the contenders in the AFC. I know we talked about it a little bit in the last podcast, but we had to talk about it briefly because we had a lot of topics. Who do you feel are the top contenders? Do you feel Kansas City did make indeed a comeback? What do you think the top teams are? Who do you think is the favorite in the AFC? And I'm gonna start off with Anthony, if his mic is on. Can you hear me, Ant?
Yeah, here we go.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. So the Chiefs definitely had a great performance Sunday night against Las Vegas. Mahomes threw for 5 touchdowns. Kelsey had, I think, a touchdown. Hill had a touchdown. and the defense looked up to par with what they looked like last year. I still don't think one win is enough to truly say they're back. I mean, they've been beating teams like the Packers, who've had a backup quarterback. I mean, and they barely scraped by the Giants. I mean, it's one game I don't think is enough to truly say that they're back yet. They still got to show me more in these upcoming weeks. I mean, I still think they have a great offensive roster. Defense still is lacking in some departments. I mean, their pass rush isn't really there, and just the work. Besides Tyrann Mathieu in the secondary, it really hasn't been that great. I think Thornhill is definitely got to get more playing time in their secondary, except for and definitely got to get rid of what's his name, Matt Sorensen. He's terrible. Whenever I see that guy on a tape, he's getting burned. So Sorensen definitely got to get benched. I think the Chiefs, they definitely have the pieces in order to move on. I don't think they're there yet. Give them time.
Jordan, how do you feel about the AFC? Who do you think the best team is in the AFC at this point? And who do you think is the favorites right now?
Jordan, your damn mic is off, kid. Come on, get it together. The show is named after you. You're better than this.
Man, I'm sorry, fellas. I'm just man. Anyways, what I was saying was I'm looking at the standings right now in the conference. Tennessee's at 8-2, Buffalo's at 6-3, and then Baltimore right at number 3, and New England right behind them. So I feel like we said on previous podcasts, the field is open. You know, Chiefs are getting hotter again. But I feel like it's wide open, man. To be honest, with like any of these teams can make a deep run in the playoffs, man. I mean, I don't. Well, they have the Steelers behind us, but I don't know how they'll probably slide down a couple spots. The Steelers, but yeah, like I said, it's pretty wide open competition, man, and that's crazy to say because it hasn't really been an open competition in the NFL season before, so it's really exciting, man. So we'll see. But I don't want to start another argument like we did on last podcast. But I mean, hey. Never mind.
Don't even say it, man. I was gonna say because I saw Jordan beating around the bush there, and he's trying to figure out who the hell he's gonna say. And I know my dog's gonna come right back to Lamar Jackson.
He wants to say Lamar. He
and
wants
the
to.
Baltimore Ravens.
They're number 3.
We get it.
They're number 3 right now in the conference right now. So I mean,
say it, man. Say it.
Super fan. Is there
Believe
big trust, baby.
I'm just saying, there's no bigger supporter of a team. Jordan John Louis might be the most diehard fan of any team that he likes because my man just says, we got a shot no matter what. We the greatest. Even when we suck, we're the greatest. We're bouncing back. You know what it is.
My boy Ant didn't have his Ravens cap on all freaking podcasts today, and he just put it on, bro. He knows what's up.
It was just backwards. He was
It was backwards.
I didn't have it on. It was on my head the entire time.
Jordan's tripping tonight. It's getting late.
I'm tripping.
Y'all need to leave Anthony Goodell alone. He was just repping his league, the NFL No Fun League. You know what it do.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because he was telling me I'm the No Fun League earlier.
And you look like you're about to
Goodell.
call. You look like a special teams assistant coach for the Baltimore Ravens right now.
Oh, yeah, see, look, I got the little
Especially the headset.
Give me the clipboard. I got the polo shirt. Come on, give me a coach.
I could just see him right now. I could just
973. Call me up
real quick. While we're on the Ravens, I've been saying this all week.
Here we go.
Listen, I'm a man of my word, and I can admit when I'm wrong. Lamar Jackson, I am issuing an apology to you. Not that you give a damn about who I am right now, but I'm issuing an apology because in the hype of the moment, I used a bullshit stat, and I said that Lamar Jackson is, fumbles a lot more than guys that we were previously mentioned for MVP candidate. And when I went back and looked at the numbers, my man Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray, and Josh Allen all had more fumbles. So I do apologize for saying something that was blasphemous, and I need to own that up. I apologize. But I believe it was my man Matt who said he'd just be fumbling at the worst times, and that's why it feels like that. So I think I am saved a little bit there because every time you're watching, whenever they don't need a fumble happens. You don't believe me? Just look at that Las Vegas Raiders game at the beginning
When do you
of the
ever
season.
need a fumble?
What's up?
When do you
Oh,
ever
I'm
need a
saying,
fumble?
no. There's times
Some
where
fumbles
it's
are
like-
worse than others.
There's time, yeah, absolutely. Depending on where you are on the field, depending on what time of the game it is. Like we said, overtime fumble versus the Raiders. Correct me if I'm wrong, or it was at least in that fourth quarter towards that dying moments when they least needed it. You know, if you're getting one in the middle of the first quarter, it is what it is. But you know, when we're dealing with clutch situations, it just seems to always go against him right when they really need it to happen. And other times he's great. He's an exciting player, but nonetheless, going with what you were talking about, Matt, with the AFC contenders, I think we're gonna find out on whether or not the Chiefs have still been okay. It's just they're not excellent like we're used to them being, and they're playing the Dallas Cowboys this week. And I think that game we're gonna see if both teams are true contenders, like we've been talking about, especially from my boys. We'll see if they're the real deal. I think they are playing against Tampa Bay, but we know that sometimes they have a tendency to slack and lack off. And I'm not sold on the win against the Raiders for the sole fact that I legitimately saw that the Raiders lose to the Giants. That secondary was not that great. They should have won that game and they just playing down. So I'm not sold with the domination over the Raiders. If they beat the Cowboys or vice versa, depending on that game, I think that's going to tell us a lot about both divisions. And that's my game of the week I'm most excited for.
Yeah, I would have to agree with the rest of you guys. It's wide open. If I had to pick a favorite, I think, what did I say last podcast? My sleeper was the Chargers, but they've dipped a little bit since then. They're 5-4 now. I also did say if Derrick Henry never got injured, they would be the Tennessee Titans would be the clear-cut favorite in my opinion. But for as right now, I guess I would go with the Bills just on the fact that they have the second best quarterback and the best defense in the conference, in my opinion. Lamar Jackson, I still need to see more from him as far as big games and being able to keep his turnovers under control. Yes, other quarterbacks have more, but it feels like, as Maz mentioned, he has them at the worst moments. I've seen plenty of games but maybe not plenty, but I've seen some games where Lamar Jackson would be in the red zone or just near the red zone and turn it over. You know what I'm saying? I've seen him have multiple games where he's had multiple fumbles. So I may go to the Bills. But let's transition to another subject. I'm gonna let Jordan talk about it. AJ Brown.
Yeah, very, very important. So on ESPN, Tennessee Titans star wide receiver AJ Brown came out today with a strong statement. Brown last year mentioned that he had thoughts of taking his life. He felt that he didn't have hope for better days and believed everything was going wrong for him. And I quote, this is from him: "I posted this video because I wanted to encourage others to seek help whenever they are down. I didn't take into consideration for what depression really was. I grew up just brushing it off my feelings, and this got the best of me. I just wanted to put on a positive message and that I'm still here, I'm growing and blessed, and have a lot to be thankful for." So yeah, it's very, very important. Him as an athlete, and athletes across every sport. I don't think people take obviously depression is a very serious topic, and just knowing that he has the bravery to come out and speak about it, it really takes guts. And just knowing that he was having thoughts of taking his life, it just doesn't. It just proves the fact that no matter if you're human, athlete, have money, rich, poor, we all go through some problems, and it's just. And I just want to say, if anyone is experiencing with depression or anything, just reach out. Talk to your mom, dad, best friend, anyone, and it's important to speak out, so we can have a good message for other people who don't feel as comfortable. And we see that with Simone Biles too in the Olympics. Same thing. Like she took one for the team because she wasn't, her mind wasn't right. So these players are put on a pedestal as um, gifted athletes, but we don't know what's going on in their mind, and it's just important that players speak out, even though it takes a lot of courage. I mean, it's an important topic. So I mean, who wants to take the stand, man? Who wants
Yeah,
to?
yeah. I'll follow up. Yeah, obviously, shout out to AJ Brown. Takes a huge amount of courage to even address a topic like that. So props to him. I hope he's doing well. But like I like the point you made. It feels like, well, before I go into that, it does seem that we are trending in the right direction for athletes coming forward talking about mental issues. You listen to players like Kevin Love is big on mental health. Kyrie Irving, we know he takes breaks. He takes all the breaks he needs for his mental health. Different players have mentioned it in different leagues, like you said, the Olympics, football, basketball. So I think we are trending in the right direction. But like you said, it still feels that we hold athletes to the standards. They are still human. We get so caught up in them doing numbers for our fantasy league. We look at them as like role models in the community. We think they're untouchable and that nothing affects them. But they're human and they're individuals. You know what I'm saying? They still are people. They still have feelings. They still have issues. No matter how much money you have, that doesn't necessarily give you happiness. So let's just keep that in mind. So Anthony, what are your thoughts on Antonio Brown? I mean, not Antonio Brown. Excuse me, AJ Brown.
Yeah, I just want to follow up just what Jay said and what you said, Matt. It does take a big person to admit that you have depression or anxiety or any mental health issue for that matter, especially a guy in such a high position as a wide receiver on an NFL team. I mean, so much stress has been put on today about mental health issues, and to still see that there are people that don't take it seriously enough, it's just ignorant, and it's blatant that they don't understand it, and we have to sort of get these people to understand that this is an issue. It is a problem in today's day and time. I do think AJ Brown, he definitely did the right thing, and I saw that one of the reasons that he got out of his depression was that the birth of his daughter last year. And sometimes like something like that can help, like just having a family member around, a new family member, whether it be a daughter or having like your mom around or someone that you can talk to, or just have something that can just be a good stress relief. I mean, depression is one of the toughest issues that we have today. And I think that's important that we speak up, and it's important that we talk about our feelings. Well, even if it's with a therapist that you don't know, just get those feelings off your chest. And that's just a great message by AJ Brown. I think he did a great job bringing light to that issue.
Yeah, just to piggyback before Brandon goes, and Matt, I just want to piggyback off of Ant's comment. Very well said. It just doesn't. It's like if you don't know anybody, just like just don't be afraid to like ask them how their day is going, because we never know what's going on in someone's head. Always, be friendly, be kind, and it's just we need to keep this conversation going, and that's just what I have to say about. How about you, Brandon?
Yeah, dog. Yo, it's rough. I know. Sometimes I rag on like some of this stuff. Just because of the opportunity that these guys are in. Like Kyrie, it's rough, man. I don't want to sit there and tell anybody that like their problems don't mean nothing. Obviously, depression's a legitimate sickness, chemical imbalance and stuff. But I think we as a people, one, need to be more open about these conversations, and two, not jump the gun on it either. Whether or not we got to realize when depression is situational and when it's an actual consistent problem. Because when it's the consistent problem, when you're going on weeks and nothing's changed and you can't pinpoint it to something, then it's time to have a conversation. It's time to speak up. And I commend these athletes like Kyrie Irving, like AJ Brown for speaking up, even though like at times it's like, fellas, like y'all are in such a good position and people would be killing. We wouldn't even be thinking about those problems if we could just get our families out of these situations. But the fact of the matter is, like, we all don't have the opportunity to do that. And no matter what position you are, these things happen. A sense of purpose sometimes can be lost. Sometimes it's just you get lost, man. You feel so lonely without being actually alone. And it happens to the best of us. But shout out to all of the guys that do like a good job on this. And I didn't even see this come out with AJ Brown until you mentioned it, Jordan. We had a bigger situation. I shouldn't say bigger, but a more headliner situation. Y'all saw what happened with that Zach Stacy stuff.
Yeah.
So my mind's been on that a lot lately. That's actually been messing with my mental health because I can't believe that a man would ever put his hands on a woman. I shouldn't even say a man. A coward would put a hand on his woman like that, especially when he ragdolled her, man. I mean, that was disgraceful. I'm not sharing the video. Y'all can find it. It is the most disgraceful thing I've ever seen. It don't be by anybody with a sick stomach with that for sure.
Trigger warning for sure.
For sure, dude. It's the most just disgraceful thing I've ever seen, and that guy's gonna get whatever is coming to him. And I hope, he deserves all of it. I don't know what's going on with his mental health and what's going on, but quite frankly, there's no excuse for me. And listen, if you're a true man out there, you get your mind right, you handle your business, you never put your hands on a woman, and you keep it moving. You find out. Don't be afraid to ask help for your peers, but don't ever stoop to situations that are just gonna make you look like a coward. And don't ever do this bullshit that we saw from Zach. Excuse my language, but that's what it was. It was bullshit. And we as men out there, it's a new day, man. Women are strong and independent, but we as men too, like, we still gotta check ourselves. We still gotta get our stuff together, man. And we gotta stop acting like little boys out here and start handling stuff like men.
Yeah, like before I let Matt speak about his opinion on it, like just like with the whole like Simone Biles, like this me being on social media at that time, social media like it's just like terrible because they were saying, "Oh, Simone Biles soft. Why she backing out? Why she let her team down?" But you don't get it. Like I know we're not Olympic gymnastics, but like when you're not with any sport, if you're not in the right headspace, you're not in the right mental, like you don't know. Like she can be on a high beam and break an ankle, and that she's not focused, and she did it for her health. She did it for her well-being. I don't like people on social media just like, I mean, we have a freedom of speech where you can say whatever you have to say, but don't if you don't know the situation at hand, do not speak on that situation. You don't know what the situation is. And I mean, at that point, at that moment, I was kind of okay. At first, I didn't get the situation. At first, I didn't get it because I was like, okay, maybe she's backing out, maybe she's not even ready. But as I looked into the situation, I was like, okay, wow, yeah, like she could have got hurt. She could have got, so she took, and that's on the Olympic stage. That's like where like people are watching, everyone's watching, and like everyone came in support of her. So social media is just they went just off the rockers with their comments, man. It rubbed me the wrong way.
Hey, how many times you gotta say it, man? When you say something behind a key, don't say nothing behind a keyboard that you wouldn't say in person, and just be a genuine person, no matter who you are, what you believe in, your background, color of your skin, it doesn't matter. All right. We mess with genuine people here. All right. We got 4 different shades chilling on this screen right now. All right. We get along just fine because we're all stand-up dudes and we all know that we have the best intentions, and sometimes we say the wrong things and sometimes we think without speaking, but I think we're all man enough to and grown up enough to know when we're wrong and when we got to issue apologies, so Big J, I just want to thank you for giving us this platform.
Yeah.
And sometimes we got to cover, I know this could be hard listening at times, but sometimes we got to cover these issues, so it is what it is, but everybody just got to do a better job, man. Everybody.
Right.
Yeah, like I don't want to be like a hog on this topic. I want to let Matt speak, man. Like I know you're going to say something, man, but like I appreciate you, Matt, or Maz, man. I appreciate you all, man. I'm happy that Maz seeked me out at the meeting, like, yo, it's good to have different shades of different diversity on this show, man. And before I'll let you go, Matt.
Yeah. No. Like I said, I feel like we are trending in the right direction. But the fans, I think we got to take a step back and not be so selfish. I mean, like I said, we're so consumed in like our own individual like games, like we only care about our fantasy leagues, their points, what they're doing for us. We don't consider, excuse me, how they're feeling. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to say, to follow one of Matt's points on the AJ Brown situation. You also got to remember, with more money, I know you said they're in a favorable position, but you also got to remember, more money, more problems too. So, you know, I'm pretty sure they got fake friends, fake family members, a lot of pressure stuff.
Fair enough. But in the terms of my man, my favorite rapper, Young Jeezy out there, more problems, more money.
More problems, more money. I feel that.
It's a mindset, dog.
Nah, I hear that.
It's a mindset. All right. It's a mindset. Get your mind right. And
right.
And maybe he is DJ Khaled. I don't know.
Another one.
Nah, those are Jeezy lyrics all day. Let me talk to him. Get your mind right. All right.
Yeah.
I heard Big say more money, more problems. The way I look at it, more problems, more money. Bro, if y'all ain't on Young Jeezy, that's the wave, bro. That's knowledge right there. That's growth right there. Jay-Z, too, Rick Ross. I mess with the three of them because they drop in knowledge, man, on how to better yourselves and just get your mind right. And you know what? Speaking of speaking of mind right, we haven't even covered it because obviously this isn't sports related. But let me just say, rest in peace, Young Dolph.
Yeah, rest in peace, Young Dolph, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Rest in peace, man.
All right, well, that's gonna do it. If there's no more remarks, thank you guys so much for watching. This is episode 2, season 3. Make sure you tune in every Fridays. JJL podcast, you know how we coming. Shout out to everybody. Thank you, Jordan, Brandon, and Anthony, of course. We're gonna see you next week.
Yeah, man.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.
Have a good one, fellas.